I'm telling you, I'm really starting to lose it here. I'm seeing things, having nightmares, getting my continuity all mixed up. I could really use your help here.
So, a typical week for you, in other words. Wait, are you watching Steven Seagal movies again?
That was 3 summers ago, creepy. Don't forget that problem you've been having talking to yourself. You stay out of this!
You were just asking for my help a second ago, Decker.
No, don't mind him. I could just really use some help here. Don't forget the lube.
Listen, I'd like to help, but I have problems of my own right now. I've been fighting off an infection from an abscessed tooth. This is the first time I've been able to talk without sounding like robotic Elmer Fudd.
Oh, come on, you mean you really don't want to jump in on...
The Summer of Freddy versus Jason!
Shut the hell up with that crap already!
No!
Alright, I'm coming up there.
Hey!
Experience has taught me to take your summer specials in stride. That or get used to the tinnitus.
Told you you'd be on your own yet.
Shut your mouth or I swear I will rip your tongue out of your ass!
Okay, get some sleep, Decker.
No, wait, hello? Hello? Fuck.
Never thought I'd be upset to hear Decker use the words tongue and ass in a sentence before.
Hello, World Wide Web. I'm Dragon Shado, the internet personality of the best hair, and it's time for... I already did that, didn't I? Fuck, the point is, today's... I do too many of these things, I don't even know anymore. Point is, Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. While many theorize this was supposed to be Jason versus Carrie, I haven't found any hard evidence to support that, honestly. I have found some interesting information that the 7th Friday the 13th movie was originally supposed to be Jason versus Freddy, but because the lawyers between Paramount and New Line Cinema couldn't agree to the terms, the concept fell through the cracks, and we got a different supernatural power-wielding foe to take on Jason Voorhees. A girl with telekinetic powers. Some say she was supposed to be Carrie, but Paramount couldn't get the rights to that either, so instead they just made a generic psychic girl with Carrie's powers instead of Carrie, a not Carrie. But if that's the route they would go for with that, then why not just make a generic not Freddy and do the Jason vs. Freddy that way instead? That, and aside from her powers and a few social issues, this character really doesn't have much in common with Carrie at all. The story is she is traumatized by an accident her powers caused when she was but a child, and returned to Crystal Lake at the behest of her doctor to get better. However, one thing leads to another, and before you know it, Jason has risen from the waters once more to kill a bunch of fucking teenagers. So she's like Carrie, but not Carrie. And to some people, I can't believe it's not Carrie. But, nevertheless, let's take a look at Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood, and see a new twist on Jason killing a bunch of teenagers in a forest. After an opening sequence that covers the backstory of the series, using clips from several movies and some from the Jason Lives trailer that weren't actually in the movie, we switch over to Where Are They Now? They being Jason, and Where being at the bottom of Crystal Lake. Now it's time to introduce some new characters.
Please don't drink anymore.
Don't tell me what to do!
And already I'm taken aback by the rather well-spoken drunk. Silence, wench, thine authority to profess instruction unto me is lacking. Cognitive inebriation aside, this little girl here is Tina, played by Jennifer Banco. She goes to run away into the lake, and is pursued by her father John, played by John Autran, and her mother Amanda, played by Susan Blue. Her parents fight all the time, and she's sick of how much of an ass her dad is.
Go away! I hate you! I wish you were dead!
Well, I've got good news, Tina. Her emotionally charged telekinetic powers kick in, killing her father. Despite the fact that it was a 15-foot drop into deep water, but, you know, much like plot armor makes it so you can survive absolutely anything, plot vulnerability means a paper cut will make you explode. Very fortunately, we suddenly teleport 10 years into the future, give or take, and away from the child actor's dry line deliveries, meaning the role of Tina is taken over by Lar Park Lincoln. It seems she never got over that tragic death of her father and blames herself. Probably because it's kinda her fault. The point is, she's heading back out to Crystal Lake with her mother at the behest of Dr. Cruz, played by Terry Kaiser. Damn, it would've been awesome if it was Dr. Terry Crews, though.
You really think that we're doing the right thing, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Old Spice Buddies break and change a regular smelling man into a man who smells like power!
Yeah, it'd fuck up the plot beyond repair, but it sounds fun to me. Seems their old house has a Part 4 style house full of teenagers next door now, and of the handful outside of the time, Nick, the man with the gin, played by Kevin Spiritus, helps Tina with her granny panties. This does little to impress the lady, and we move on to see the doctor's first session. Rather than talk about the tragedy and try and help her feel closure, he seems far more interested in trying to get her to do that wicked telekinesis shit, which she calls him out for.
The only reason that I'm here is to help you overcome the guilt that you have about your father's death. That's all.
That's bullshit!
And I'm just amazed that no government agents seem at all interested in Tina's psychic shit. I mean, yeah, the doctor is obviously more interested in that than helping her, but not a single man in black shows up all movie. This gets her so upset she sits around the house until nightfall, then runs out the door, unable to handle the pain of her father's death. While standing by the lakeside, though, she feels a strange presence, which might be her father. Using her psychic powers, she unchains the demon. Bringing Jason back into the fray, this time played by Kane Hodder, which many consider to be the Jason Voorhees. Terrified at his badass attitude, Tina faints, and somehow is not killed off instantly. This means she has a chance to tell the adults about this, and be completely ignored.
Your guilt over your father's death it's a powerful thing.
But it wasn't my father.
And your mind is manufacturing these hallucinations because...
It wasn't a hallucination.
Okay, did they end up using part of the original script for the Jason vs. Freddy idea? Because these adults are fucking useless. So while they do nothing about this, we jump over to two teenagers on the road, Michael and Jane, played by William Butler and Stacey Greason. Their car broke down and they have to walk back to the house. But Michael wants to camp right here. This means Jane has to spoil the fact that they're supposed to make it to their house tonight, because this is part of his surprise birthday party. A surprise party that Tina's mother has no problem letting her go off to join. Thing is, the guest of honor has to run off into the woods to take a leak, and we find out that this night is going to have a lot more surprises than they thought. Maybe it's the Vermonter in me talking, but that just looks like a horrible tree-tapping accident. By the time he returns, he sees Jason has already tapped that ass, and not wanting to suffer the same fate, he runs for his life. Far faster than Jason's casual stroll. What do you know, an actual reason for a guy to fall down and slowly crawl instead of sprinting away. So he's fucking dead, but who cares, it's time for his birthday bash. Introducing many new characters like sci-fi indie writer Eddie, played by Jeff Bennett, Maddie and Robin, played by Deanna Barrows and Elizabeth Caton, Russell and Sandra, played by Larry Cox and Heidi Kozak, and of course the obligatory cunt, Melissa, played by Susan Jennifer Sullivan.
Hi, Melissa.
I'm Tina from next door.
I know.
Maddie, who...
The popular clique in this movie consists of you. If you're the only member, it's not a clique, and not popular. There's also this stoner, David, played by John Renfield. Maddie and Robin both have their eye on him, but it's Tina who sees something life-changing here. Being stabbed through multiple times tends to change people from alive to dead. This means Tina spends all of 2 minutes at the party before getting freaked out and running like hell, finding a spike in her own house. Telling her mother and doctor about it, Cruz goes off alone to check it out, and when everyone returns, there's no spike. Just a big obvious hole in the wood, but never mind that. Must be that Tina's crazy. Therefore, we can jump over to Dan and Judy, played by Michael Schroeder and Deborah Kessler. They're cold out at night, and he wants to warm them up, but she insists they're only going to be doing that down by the fire. So it's off to the woods with a machete to collect some firewood. So does this mean that Jason observes the Hebrew Sabbath, it being Friday night and all? It does mean that Judy is left out all alone to call for her big manly man to return. When it turns out to be Jason, she counters this by hiding in her sleeping bag. Legend has it that the dummy used for the tree slam shot weighed like 95 pounds, and Kane was having a lot of trouble actually picking it up and swinging it like he was supposed to, and by the time he finally got it right, he was so frustrated he threw it on the ground and kicked it, and they were going to use that shot, but like many other shots, it was edited down because of the MPAA saying it was an X rating, and we will never see that footage because Paramount destroyed it all because they're assholes. Or like making Legends. That's it for the night, though, as we move on to the next morning, where everyone is reminiscing about how shitty that party was without the guest of honor. Even characters who weren't even there, like Kate and Ben, played by Diane Elida and Craig Thomas. They're also an item, but they have some issues. Yes, we're getting to the drama part of the story, and as such, Nick and Tina have a private heart-to-heart chat by the lakeside, where Melissa eavesdrops. Oh well, as long as she doesn't say anything incriminating.
He's my doctor. He came out to help me from a mental hospital.
Someone there? No. Okay then. So they returned to socialization, certain that nobody overheard anything, and even if they did, they couldn't possibly be enough of an asshole to hold it against her.
Hey, Tina. Isn't this the way the weather jacket's back in the mental hospital?
Not exactly. Don't worry, I can show you how we use knives, motherfucker! Or her psychokinetic powers, destroying her pearl necklace without ever touching it. Knowing she's not safe to be around, Tina flees back to her home and tells her doctor. He accepts this completely, but still says her visions of people in the lake or getting killed are just her imagination.
Why can't you believe that I saw someone get killed?
We do believe you, Tina. Your psychokineses and these delusions are just all tied together.
No, you're not listening to me!
It's not his job to listen, it's his job to let you talk, and then spew generic bullshit back at you for ridiculous sums of money. He's still useful for practicing her telekinesis, though. Target practice, anyway. Running off and back into Nick, she lets him know that she believes that Michael never made it to the party because he died. On a totally unrelated note, Sandra decides to go skinny dipping. This is an attempt to get uptight Russell to loosen up. I don't know how well that goes, but he does go limp.
Russell, come on!
What's so surprising? All movie you've been trying to have a good time and the bastard's been nothing but dead weight. The fact that there's a killer on the loose probably is it. Plus, Jason is closing in on her. Yes. Yes. Jason versus Jaws. Voorhees still loves keeping the body count collection on hand, though, so we move on to the characters interacting. Ben and Kate make up. Aww. Melissa also tells Eddie she's always loved him. Okay. And Tina's mother finds out that their doctor isn't in the house. However, his notes, showing he cares nothing for Tina's well-being and indeed brought her out here just to cause enough emotional instability to study her telekinesis, is all over the place. Cruz, however, is out in the woods, checking out other important plot points. Holy shit! Her hallucinations must be getting really intense! So while he's shitting his pants, Amanda finds a VHS tape of Dr. Cruz flat out saying he's studying this amazing psychic phenomenon right before he comes in and tries to bullshit his way out of it.
I can't expect you to understand this highly complicated process that is integral to your daughter's treatment.
It's only supposed to look like I don't care about her recovery and I'm purposely making her mental state worse as a means to bring out the psychic powers and document it and make myself rich. No one will ever believe that. Well, fuck it, the tapes are from Russia, so they don't count. But, oh darn it, now that she's fumbled into this, Tina's treatment is all ruined and he has to take her back to the hospital. Obviously, Amanda doesn't buy this shit for 1 second, but the argument they have is overheard by the girl in question who decides, fuck it, she'll just take the car and get the fuck out of here. That is, until she sees something. Oh no, I am casually driving into the woods. However will I regain control? A tree stops the car pretty quickly. This allows Tina to run out into the woods for safety, or something. Not the best strategy, as Amanda decides to doll up in the hopes of impressing David and getting the D. Going into the woods to find it for some reason, the only D she finds is dead. Also, the other guy she finds seems to want her, but she'd rather not. The problem is Jason isn't one to take no for an answer. Fists pounding through the wood and grabbing her and giving her all he's got. Wait, so is this scene like the slasher movie equivalent of a glory hole? Moving on, Tina runs back into Nick, but that just means she's not around for her mother and doctor taking the other car to find hers abandoned on the side of the road. Everyone else in this movie? They're fucking. That is, until Ben and Kate feel someone other than them rocking the van. They think this must be Michael, late for his birthday and being a jackass, so Ben heads out to find him while Kate stays behind. all over the driveway by now. Which means he can't answer, so she just sticks her head out of the window. And maybe Jason saw a sign, honk if you love murder. He's not much of a fan of teens fucking though, so one yank on the power line later, and the power is cut. While Tina continues to run around the woods with Nick, finding Michael's body. Then we can teleport back into the house again because it's time for David to go for that post-copulation snack. Yeah, the power's out and he's got the fridge door wide open and my 33-year-old ass is screaming internally, but thankfully, Jason is here to correct this mistake.
Maddie?
And to be honest, the knife to the gut is probably equivalent to the salmonella this bastard was going to give everyone else in that house. Also, boom, we teleport back to Tina and Nick, who teleport back to Tina's house, where we find that Dr. Cruz had stashed a Colt 1911 just in case he had to put that bitch down. Also, Tina, reading the doctor's plans to fuck her mind up more to evoke her psychic powers, winds up evoking psychic powers, showing Nick that she has them quite definitively. Oh, and Eddie got rejected by Melissa, who was just fucking with him to try and get Nick's attention, so now he's all alone back across the street, but he should be fine. He assumes the noise he hears is the worst thing possible.
Melissa?
Fuck man, even Jason's not that horrible of a human being. There's more teens to kill though, so Jason heads upstairs where Robin is wondering where in the hell David is with those snacks. Looking around, she can't find him, but she does find a cute kitty cat. Oh, and a severed head. And Jason! Looks like Jason's defenestration skills have taken a hit while he was underwater. I think she's still alive down there. Dr. Cruz and Amanda are still running around the woods like crazy, though. Terry knows that there's a killer on the loose and urges her to go back to the house. Problem is, Amanda's still worried about Tina and insists they stay out there looking for her no matter how dangerous it is. The doctor does have a backup plan, though.
What are you doing? I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Psychic powers as powerful as me. It's Shado.
How amazed that work? How many times have we seen Jason stab through multiple people in this series already? Leaving Tina at her home to stay put, Nick goes over to the teen's house to make sure everyone's okay. Finding one corpse under the coffee table is enough to send him running back, finding out that Tina has disappeared. So he fears the worst.
Jesus Christ!
It's okay, Nick. You could always just say it was an accident. Or Jason. I mean, the cops will buy that at this point. But Melissa's still alive, unfortunately, and Tina ran off while we weren't looking. Right out into the forest, of course, looking for her mother. Problem is, all she found was Dr. Cruz, who changed his story 3 times in one sentence and is covered in blood, so Tina doesn't trust him at this point, running off and leaving him alone. Though, not completely alone. Good evening, Doctor. Do you have time to speak about our Lord and Savior, Bushwhacker? Guess not. While he's not a great conversationalist, Jason does get right to the point, slicing Dr. Cruz in two. Which, legend has it, was also originally much more graphic and actually showed him being cut in half. Damn you, MPAA! Tina does eventually find her mother, dead of course, and is distraught. This also chimes in the part of the movie where a character runs from place to place, finding bodies and screaming, up until she winds up in a standoff with Jason Voorhees. However, this time it's Tina, the psychic powerhouse he's up against, and she has a few tricks up her sleeve. Oh, hold on, Tina. I've seen Evil Dead. What the hell are you doing? When the power of tentacle rape is not enough to stop Jason, Tina decides to just frickin' electrocute his ass, sending sparks flying, and leaving the area smelling like barbecued funazushi. But even that's not enough to stop Jason. However, Tina's not tapped out yet, so she ups the ante by... mildly inconveniencing him with the power of architecture.
Jason's dead.
You just tried flash frying his ass and that didn't work. Do you really think you managed to stop him with the power of 2x4s? Obviously, Jason is still alive. Just as bad news, so is Melissa. Fortunately, though, this is taken care of after she tells off the rest of the cast one last time. That's how you should have fucking started the birthday party out. Someone get Jason a beer. Sadly, Jason's more interested in just fucking murdering the last two survivors, so a battle begins. And, how do I go about this? Plot-wise, it's a fight, and very easy to describe as just that. I could give the boxing match blow by blow. It's a left hook, then a right hook, and oh no, he's been thrown down the stairs! Or something in between, I guess. The important part is that Tina tortures Jason to the point that his mask breaks, revealing the new Jason face, before she strings him up and removes him from the equation. There you go, if 2x4s or 1.21 gigawatts can't do it, I'm sure a 10-foot drop will. Well, as long as we're going for less and less lethal methods, why not try slap fighting? Or you could set his ass on fire, I guess that works too. Making cinematic history with the longest sustained burn at the time, at 40 seconds. Yes, that's still Kane Hodder in there. That's the benefit of having a stuntman play Jason. With that, Tina does what Tommy never could, and cremates his ass in her own house, burning all her worldly possessions, but finally putting the monster to rest. Or she just burned her house down and he's still alive, because fuck you, he's Jason Voorhees. Oh yeah, but they have that gun! All that fighting all that time and Nick just remembered. Seems 45 ACP can't do shit to stop Jason though, so these two are fucking dead. Unless some miracle pops up to save them. Damn it, Creepy, are you messing with my reviews again? What's next, Mothra shows up? This is Tina's father, who is also undead, but for one reason or another, they opted to not go with the zombie makeup and instead just make him a little dirty. He pulls Jason back down into Crystal Lake, neutralizing him yet again. This allows Tina and Nick to survive, being wheeled away in an ambulance akin to the Friday the 13th Part 2 ending. Except, you know, a much better ending.
Where's Jason?
We took care of him.
I would believe that, except there's a bucket load of sequels for me to go through after this. Anyway, that was Friday the 13th Part 7, Jason vs. Carrie. The New Blood. And it's pretty good, despite its many shortcomings. Getting the disappointing aspects out of the way first, I have to talk about the kills. Some were good, but they all felt very tame. It said the movie was sent to the Motion Picture Association of America 9 different times before they finally returned it with an R rating, forcing the producers to cut more and more each time, or else they'd slap an X rating on it. In my opinion, the MPAA went ridiculously far, considering the kind of kills on show here are what you'd expect out of a TV movie, not a slasher flick that's just barely held back enough to maintain an R rating. On the positives, though, there's a lot to like about this movie. Pitting Jason up against a foe with some capabilities to actually toss him around was interesting, and Tina worked pretty well for this aspect. While certainly powerful, she didn't control her power very well, and her emotional state wasn't helpful when it came to granting her the ability to do battle with the supernatural. It helped balance things, as her powers, when they worked, mopped the floor with Jason. As far as the cast of characters go, we get an okay lineup of recognizable individuals with their own motivations and goals, with only a few hitches along the way. There's a disconnect between the main group of teens and the main story players in Tina's household, but it's not as bad as it was in Part 4. Overall, Friday the 13th Part 7 The New Blood is an interesting entry in the series that expands on the possibilities in the setting while maintaining the formula relatively well. While not fantastic on all fronts, it does its job well and is an entertaining watch, coming in at 3 flamin' Jasons out of 5. It feels like it could have been a solid 4, but I mean, the kills were just so tame, and you lose that whole aspect of the slasher flick that way. Oh well. Thank you all for watching. I've been Shado. And remember, you don't have to let your psychic powers cause social ostracization if you just learn to levitate the beer out of the fridge.
Personal penis enlarger.